I think let's just use the drug first. We must teach him a lesson. Why is that? Because Yuuji already weakened and he injured, so in order to boost his power, so I believe we need to use the drug. This was just another manifestation of my past, another obstacle I had to face. If the man standing in front of me was a duplicate of myself, he was also something I had to overcome. Specifically, he was the person I would have become if I had never met Asako. Typhoon had never learned anything other than how to kill people, and as his brother, I had an obligation to teach him the significance of that. I reached out to pick up the case of booster he threw onto the deck. My brother watched patiently without the slightest signs of weariness. Pressing the silver cylinder to my neck, I pressed the button on the side of the injector, forcing the also highly compressed joint to my bloodstream. Okay, it hurts. My entire body hurts. It felt like my eyeballs were going to burst out of their sockets. They bulged painfully in the times with the beating of my head. Trying to endure overwhelming agony, I clenched my teeth so hard that one of them cracks. Every pulse in my body released copious amount of sweat, and all of a sudden everything in the world started to seem incredibly irritating. You can't clean up without getting your hands a little dirty. In the pursuit of a larger objective, there are some costs you simply have to bear. I could expect to achieve my goal without using every tool at my disposal, and it wasn't as if I lived a clean enough life to worry about little crimes this late in the game. As my muscles swelled with energy, I felt blood as rushed my head slowly spread back down throughout my body. I thrust my dive tentatively towards the Typhoon face, my hand shaking slightly against his ankle. Naturally, he wore his lackluster initial attack easily. But as I stepped forward, I picked up sharply on the big toe of my foot, changing my hard-hearted thrust into a vicious life. There isn't anything need to take your enemy down with a single stroke of your knife. You just need to make his life miserable to precisely harass him over and over again. Over the time, he grew increasingly irritated, losing his ability to rethink rationally, and eventually he needed just forward to deal with it. Precisely before you catch a hint of fearfulness in his eyes, that's when you go for a kill. At the end of the day, a knife fight boils down to repeatedly harassing your opponent, while enduring his attempt to do the same, not so different from war itself. Yes! But of course, my brother knew those fundamental rules just as I did, and so he knew exactly how to lead him stubbornly over attack, tempting me to press it forward too aggressively. By the time I realized I'd been manipulated, he blocked my stroke with his own blade, sending an unpleasant joke to my arm. We paused for a moment, smiled wildly at each other with our faces only inches apart.
なるほどね。自分と同じ人間に責められると、自分が他人にどう見られるかがよくわかる。兄さん、あんた。嫌なやつだね。
I don't want to hear that from you of all people. As our cross-blade ground against each other, I glanced quickly around me and then pulled my leading foot backward, half a step while piloting on my rear leg. I wanted to launch a sharp kick to Typhoon's head, but my brother had anticipated that something was coming from the southern shape in my treasure of my knife. This, as I made my move, he spun quickly away, turning his back on me. The words "oh shit" flashed to my mind, but it was already too late. As both my feet stopped moving, Typhoon let the shoe step deeply into my side. Uh-oh, God! He swung his legs standing around like a wing, landing a direct hit onto my face as I stood frozen in unbalanced. One of the screams at the additional impact casually juice poured out of my mouth. You die! If I bent over and dropped to my knees, he was going to pin me down instantly. I nearly surged through my veins, goosebumps spread across my body weight. Instead of trying to place my side, I let my body fall forward and swung my knife at many with desperate force. When I attack with a knife, you can't just retreat backward in a straight line. Your enemy can easily transition to a thrust and close the distance between you. Some people run away reflexively, some people stop only, some people stare fiercely at the enemy's blade. Some people can't think ahead of their next move in the middle of every thrust and parry, and some people make their intentions too obvious, failing to lure their opponent into mistake. All of those people end up bleeding onto the floor. In a knife fight, you have to slit into your opponent's blind spot as you evade their attacks. Ideally, you want to get in behind their dominant arms, but if you can't secure the perfect position, retreat, letting the enemy push you to the very verge of disaster. And that's when you collapse to them. Someone right in front of your feet can actually be even trickier to deal with than someone positioned directly behind your back. Swinging your knife straight down leaves you dangerously off balance, and if you try to counter with a kick instead, you're inviting the enemy to slash at your legs from their lower stance. Rather than risk that kind of danger, it's better to retreat from the threat in front of you, even if it means abandoning your enemy or your attack entirely. My vision clouded by sweat and tears, just to juice burn in my clothes. I swung my knife down at the pivot leg. I blinked out of the corner of my eyes. When he dodged that, he unforced me to a little ray that would support him, give me to off balance to move. Clinging to the side of four, I raised my head towards my enemy and found myself looking to the battle uppercut. Uh-oh! You're dead! Sayonara! Trying to fire the knife in his right hand and a pistol in his left. While I was swinging my knife regular, he simply brought the gun to bear and evaded. Whether he could actually hit me with that was an issue. The better order gun from his own is the formula weapon itself. This is someone turned the pistol on your mind focus attack exclusively on the line of fire and the body swing itself out of the way. Trying to escape the battle point ahead of I turned my neck with unnatural force. A burst from the muzzle. A split second later, just as the flash began, a bullet slashed just past my ears and grazed my neck. My brother poked landed to the back on one leg, looking something like a pedestrian and trying to avoid a sudden splash of mud from a passing car. Bringing out the rifle I had in my left hand, I pulled the trigger without taking time to aim. There wasn't much chance I actually hit him. My first bullet cut through the empty air, the second goes astray and the third flew over his head. All I needed was by myself enough time to get back on my feet. Of course, that knew exactly what I was thinking and it was about to just let it happen. I tried to win the battle of my rifle to bear once again, but he tried to slide the pistol on me. He's trying to slide the pistol on me. A hot beat once more, quickly. He's going to hit me! Reacting instantly to the danger, I swung my rifle out of the front of my face. The first of the three shots he fired a bit forcefully in his polymer receiver. Damn it! Tucking my damaged rifle against my chest, I rolled backward along the deck, then pushed myself up into my shoulders and took aim at my enemy. When I pulled the trigger, the rifle fired a single shot and fell silent. The selector was still pointing at A, holding down the trigger shot and kept the fire until its magazine was empty. That first shot had probably left the bolt carelessly poked right. Glancing down, I saw the unjetted cartridge stuck between the bolt and the list of ejection, emitted a small trail of the white smoke. Shit! Surprised at the edge because I stayed myself on my knees and quickly pulled the bolt handle, but far I couldn't bring it even half of its usual range. If I could even load it properly, the gun was nothing more than a blood instrument. Normally, without a moment's hesitation, I hurled it at my enemy. The rifle sparked the air like a boomerang heading direction on Typhoon's face. I followed his shadow skirt quickly from my blow in his voice, but even as my brother knocked the rifle aside with his knife, he brought his pistol to bear on me. Ordinarily, it is nearly possible to perform complex movements simultaneously with both your right and left hand. All the more so when you are talking about something as challenging as instantly deflecting a flying object while also aiming a gun. So when you are experienced knife fighter who learn to look for your next target even as you're killing the previous one, it's possible to keep track of multiple incoming threats without even looking around, almost as if you have eyes in the back of your head. But the knife comes bristling through the air, you block it as if it's exactly center of gravity. For true professional, there isn't even anything special. That's right, look at my eyes. Look at my eyes and try to guess what I'm doing next. You know how this works, don't you? It's much easier to attack than to defend. There's only one step to going on this offensive, launching your attack. But because the defender has to both perceive the attack and the counter in two steps. No matter how unnaturally sharpening your senses might be, the fundamental numerical differences can be completely eliminated. My brother could only fend off my attacks because we were very similar creatures and our minds work in a very similar ways. When you can anticipate an attack, it's possible to block it. In that case, I just had to attack in a way he couldn't possibly anticipate. Simple as that. Here I come. When my leg at my knees, I charged shoulder first typhoon right in my lower down the whole field. Ever since I was a little kid, I trained myself to be quick on my feet. Therefore, as I slid into range, I managed to land a solid forceful headbutt. It was like something out of the ball between two kids. I never think or do about scrapping, of course. I learned from the very best. My master always a bit of a thug, all too willing to solve her problems through violence. Thugs tend to be dim-witted, although they're also surprisingly shrewd. But my master also taught me that craftiness can only get you so far. I sat through her lesson day in and out. Tried to my best to study as she poked me in the head with a stick. Thanks to a truly excessive amount of effort, I managed to pick up a few clever little tricks that your average dim-wit wouldn't be able to pull off. Oh! Okay.
Kisama!
Kazami style defense, bare hand pistol snatch, pretty cool, right?
調子に乗るなよ!
Oh no, but his hand hurt. You took the words right out of my mouth. His body quickly raged, my brother glared at me with a new intensity in his eyes. Those were the eyes of a man possessed by violence. Those were the eyes of someone who had been granted strength instead of earning his full sheer experience. It was the exact same way my father had, glowing at me, drunk on the stomach his money gave me him. It made me sick to my stomach. What's the matter, kid? First time you got a shot, it doesn't hurt, doesn't it? You tense your muscle trying to stop the bleeding, but it only surges out all the faster. Once you are lost enough blood, your muscle begins to stiffen, losing their explosive power. When you realize that time is on your side, you start to panic. You can hesitate or you stop moving entirely. Don't get too cocky yourself, little brother. With my full focus on fending off my knife, I fire a 11.4 mm 260 gram big game hunting bullets into the guts point blank. With my full focus on fending off my knife, I fire a 11.4 mm 260 gram big game hunting bullet into his gut at point blank range. The pistol in my hand, too huge and clunky to be a particularly practical weapon, had previously belonged to Oslo's subordinate Travis. I slipped it under my belt earlier, thinking it might come in handy if I needed to blow the lock off a door. He was genuinely impressed that the man had to die instantly. The caliber of the bullet was only relevant to consider it, of course. We basically taken a 0.454 cold round to the stomach, and he was still healthy enough to scream. You didn't see that every day. I would have thought anyone other than Asako could be tough enough to survive a shot from a gun like this. The hell, doesn't it? Well then again, I guess that's the least of your worries. Right there on the decks, my brother stared at me furiously with eyes full of crimson red blood vessels. Hold on a second, I'll put you out of your misery. Damn, out of a bullets, huh? The pistol could only hold 5 of those absolutely enormous calculation at time. I counted shot Travis took, but the only overcomplex mechanism on the box was an annoying bullet that I had bothered to double check how many bullets were left. I either have to pick up the gun Typhoon had thrown aside earlier or finish it with my knife at the cost of some potential pain. As I was thinking over, my brother reached inside his shirt and pulled out another case of booster drug. Shit! For instance, I could almost hear Asako's exasperated voice in my ears. How many times do I have to tell you, kid? Finish the damn fight when you got a chance. You always screw up at the worst possible scenarios. Not happening! Quickly taking the case out of the Typhoon's hand, I pressed my knees down his chest, pinning his trashing body to the deck. I just had to do this the hard way. As I raised my knife and looked down at my brother's blood, wide eyes face, my thoughts began to move in unpredictable directions. Events of my rational mind screams killing in the faces of my victims rose out of my memories. Before hesitates at times I just end up there. I had to kill it now or I'd be the next to go. I knew that, but I still couldn't move the fact also I am daughter of my man, but I would leave my man. It was irrelevant, this thing was practically a part of me. I had an obligation to kill him with my own 2 hands. What reason could there possibly be to let him alive? Nani?
そんなことだから欠陥品だって言われるんだよ兄さん
All of a sudden, my brother was pressing a cylinder to his own neck. Just as I hid the gun under my clothes, he apparently kept a spare supply of a booster satchel somewhere. Spares me like an electrified frog. Typhoon jerked his back up on the end and sent me stumble backward. The hair on the back of my neck was standing on the end. Every pore of my body was open. The smell of murderous rage was so thick in the air that it almost felt like I was breathing in poison. As my brother slowly rose to his feet, heedless of the gaping hole in his abdomen, I saw something like streaming rays up from his body. How the hell could he even stand? How the hell could he even stand? Of course, I heard stories about soldiers who walked kilometers back to their home base with their guts spilling out of their stomachs. Was it all just sheer power will? I couldn't understand it. What was keeping that man on his feet? Blah. Before I realized that was coming, it had connected. The punch itself was a perfect ordinary right hook. He had a step towards me. I hadn't seen any preliminary motion in the shoulder, but in the blink of my eye, he smashed his fist into the side of my face. At first, I didn't know what had happened to me. As the world distorted before my eyes, my toe curls out reflexing and my skull creaked under the strain. I finally realized that I'd been struck. Blah. Really bad while I threw a hezzy punch on my own. It was a big swing, completely telepath. My face cut through empty. Just below, I cut a glimpse of Typhoon's silver hair. By the time I processed that he ducked under the punch, he landed 2 vicious blows into the side of my gut. Goha! One of my right ribs broke and jammed into my lungs, forcing a strange gasp from my throat. Not good. If he damaged my lung, I would be able to breathe properly. And if I couldn't breathe properly, my muscle would eventually stop working. It doesn't matter how tough or determined you are. An engine can't run without gasoline, and the human body can't move without oxygen. My legs stretched unsteadily beneath me. Taking advantage of the way my body was tilted, I launched a sudden roundhouse attack. This time I felt my attack connect, but he defended himself with a cross arm block. There wasn't any point pushing forward. I didn't have the momentum to break through. He was laughing. My brother was actually laughing, and his voice was full of genuine glee. The blade of his knife cut through my flesh, stopping when it hit my collarbone. Once again, there's been no advancing warning whatsoever. The attack hit me before I even knew it was coming. Even a close range specialist takes a tick of a second or so to launch a strike, but Typhoon movement was just instantaneous. This wasn't anything so simple as a difference in our reaction times. His murderous malice was so overwhelmed that it concealed his intentions completely. Every attack felt like a bolt of the blue.
遅いよ。遅すぎて止まって見えるよ、兄さん。
Gah! My brother fired off a kick of his own, returning my earlier attack in kind. His leg lashed onto my arm guard solar plexus, forcing air from my lungs before I could even cry out. Not completely on my feet, I tumbled backward across the hard metal deck. Gah! I couldn't breathe properly. My eyes were quivered so intensely that I could barely see a thing. My body felt as heavy as lead, and the cool deck beneath me seems to be draining the warmth from my limbs. This was no good. I had to get out right now. If I let myself drift off, I was going to open my eyes again. I know all that, but my body just didn't want to move. It felt a bit. At that time, I nearly bleed out on the ground after taking a shot from a rifle. Alright, I got myself onto that one. I seem to remember checking my jaw down and yelling, come on, at myself, until I could move again. Gah! Wasn't happening this time. When I opened my mouth, all that emerged from it was a bloody pool. As my finger got out there brushes against something cold, I realized instantly what was something was. A case of blood. A case of booster drugs.
いいよ。使いなよ、兄さん。
Again? Typhoon must have kicked me this way deliberately, knowing that the booster was lying there. The kid really was too cocky for his own good. Was he that sure that his own big brother could possibly be him? I could kind of understand that actually. Not too long ago, I almost convinced myself that I do surpass Kazuki. Apparently, overconfidence ran in the family. Reaching out with trembling finger, I took a cylinder from the case and pressed it display to my neck. Good. Ah! A burst of brilliant light, white light exploded before my eyes. Suddenly my body was boiling with heat, my muscles swelled out inside of me and my bones growing up under the stain. The burn was beyond intense, a powerful force was ripping my body apart, a vice was clamping down viciously on my head. My heart was moving so fast that I thought it might explode. What was this? 200 beats per minute? Blood surged through my veins, reinvigorating every cell in my exhausted body. I was suddenly bursting with energy, like a candle flaring up before it burns out. I could move again, propping myself to forcefully up off the deck. I landed steadily on my feet. In total, I do now take a triple dosage of the boosters. That was definitely uncharted territory. I look around me, observing a world that seems to be moving in slow motion, and my eyes found the face of my brother. He was smiling, but for some reason that didn't inspire any real emotions in me. I felt no anger, no pain, nothing. Right now, I probably had the exact same smile on my own faces. The familiar smell of blood and adrenaline in my nostrils was the only thing in the world that felt real to me. Without devising any plans whatsoever, I took my first step forward. Wait, your neck! At a glance, the two of us were about 9 paces away from each other. I closed steadily staring the three giants' face. Keeping my body as close to the ground as possible, I rushed straight towards my enemy's leg. My legs went forward in a low sharp gait, like a scythe moving down wild grass. The blow struck home, and we hadn't even attempted evading. I do use it now. The music! I do use enough force to shatter an anchor, and it fell to his foot through my brother badly off balance, and before he had a chance to recover, I leaped out onto him. I hadn't planned out of any of this out in advance. It said there wasn't any kind of martial arts maneuver. I had to literally just jump on the man like a wild animal, bringing down his prey. The only real difference was that I didn't have any razor sharp fangs to sink into his deck. A human being always weapon are the techniques that fitted into their own bodies, without any need for conscious thought on my part. My body moved exactly as I trained him to, like a predator obeying its natural instincts. Using the momentum of my leg, I grabbed Typhoon's left wrist and pulled him forcefully towards me, and drove my elbow into his temple. Now I just needed to follow through, pushing down and smashing his head against the hard surface of the deck. When you are thrown off balance by a sweeping kick to the leg, it's impossible to defend yourself or even suffer a fall. But using the weight of my body and its own acceleration and getting, I intended to slam it down hard enough to crack his skull open. But his ball was something I hadn't expected. This wasn't anything particularly fancy either. He simply braced himself using his stationary leg. What the? Only that one leg, his muscles swelled out until they nearly tore his pants apart, and I actually managed to bear both my weight and force of his body momentum. It was the sort of thing you expected to see some circus sideshow, not actual combat. In effect to my astonishment, my brother reached out with the arms I was grasping and sitting hold on my wrist. Gah! The smell of his feet was giving. The strength of his grip was inhuman. My wrist screamed pain and I heard my watch glass die crashing under the pressure. At this rate, it was going to crush through the ball and rip off my hand. Damn it! Instead, he kicked out my right knee. I drove it into his injured gut. There was a sickening crunch as the blow landed, and my brother let out an involuntary cry. It was probably less an expression of pain than of frustration at its injured body refused to move as he wanted, and instead it declined physical stamina. Should I pull away or press the attack? There was a split-second design. Now you have your opponent at a disadvantage. You press forward and bring him down. If he remains, taking 2 or 3 blows in the button. Pulling my right elbow back, I quickly reach my hand to a side spoon face. My middle finger and ring finger grasps its lower jaw. My index finger pushes it to its ear, and my thumb moves to gouge out its left eyeball. So my brother was about to just let that happen. The same instant I started to apply pressure into his side. My middle finger on his left side stabbed into my right ear. Ugh. Shit is going to get my eardrum. That wasn't the end of the world itself, but he fully pushed through my ear, I don't lose sense of my equilibrium. If that finger made all the way to my bed, it would be all over. That was the sort of thing he could just drag off. Trusting my arms straight out, I took his jaw back will, finally ripping him off. The two of us stumbled across the deck in opposite direction, our eyes tracking each other's movement. Oh my! It's bleeding! Push my up, and all 4 of my limbs. I verified that my sense of balance was still functioning. My brother rose to his feet as well, swaying like a puppet with a few broken strings.
まったく殺すのに1分以上かかったのは兄さんが初めてだよ。
What? You're just bragging now? When a job's going to take more than a minute, you give up. That's an ironclad rule for any assassin. Ordinarily, you want to kill them before they see your face. You never give yourself a chance to be empty for the target. If things will trick you back or wait for another chance. Unless you follow the rules, you won't last longer in this line of work. It had already been 7 minutes since the start of our battle. At this point, we were already failed. But even so,
俺が兄さんの立場ならもうとっくに諦めてる。諦めたところで所詮は元さやだ。こうして抗うだけの価値が市ヶ谷にはあるっていうのかい。本気で国防なんてものを憂いでいるわけでもないんだろう。上の都合で西へ東へポクッと死んでも数には数えられない。どこへ行ったってそれは変わらない。それでも戦い続ける理由が兄さんにはあるのかい。
You wouldn't understand. You will not understand.
わからないから聞いているんだ。俺と兄さんの何が違う。
I have family and you don't have family. We explain different things. My master used to say that the value of a man depends on the kind of man he makes. But the way I say it, a man's real worth comes down to the kind of woman he knows. And that's where the difference between us lies. You are the person I have become. If I never met Asako or set foot in Yama, I probably would have ended up just like you.
くだらないね。それは不必要な感情だ。
Like I say, you will not understand. He been taught to value only which is useful, to bravely throw away his own life in pursuit of a greater goal. I'll be raised by a woman who let me experience all sorts of things. This war not the women who scoff at the idea of heroic sacrifice. Men love to die young in the place of glory, leaving everyone else behind to pick up the pieces. The women are survivors, they live on and they struggle forward, fighting to the bitter end. Of course, the two of us could understand each other. It's like they always say, men who fight other women are like other men. They are stubborn, dirty bastards. They do whatever it takes to survive, and no matter what, they never stop coming at you. And why are you fighting for yourself? Why are you fighting for yourself? Why is there any of this worth risking your life for? Do you even have a home to return to?
俺にだって積み上げてきた理想があるさ。そのためには兄さん、あんたが邪魔なんだよ。死んでくれよ兄さん。
understood where my brother was coming from. I understood. There's been a time when I used to believe that the perfect world Oslo described was the only possible paradise. There's no such thing as heaven on earth. In that case, we just have to make it ourselves. For the sake of that goal, it was only right that we shared the blood of those who stood in our way. Those words had been drilled into my head over and over, and for the time, I believed that absolutely. I couldn't imagine what kind of paradise would actually await us at the end of our labor. But even so, I do murder countless people in cold blood, hoping to create a world less terrible than this one. Besides this prophet, I looked down onto the gate and spotted the knife I cast aside some time ago. I will kill you with my own two hands. Smartly now, I reached out for the knife. It was so cold to the touch that I felt a shiver run down my spine. Also, I once told me that a tool for killing people would be devoid of warmth. This probably both an expression of his distaste for firearms and a reminder that the act of murder is best performed emotionlessly. My brother here was another killing machine that man had created. As he brandished his knife, I saw no anger and sadness in his face. This was the only way of life he knew. He couldn't do anything but kill, and that's why he had to eliminate the obstacle in his path. It wasn't as if he had a motive. His prey was standing in front of him, and like a predatory animal, he simply let his instincts carry him forward. He didn't care if I tried to evade his charges or make his head on. He just wanted to warn me further, to weaken me, and eventually to bring me down. There were no tactics or strategy involved. Willingly accepting a certain degree of injury, he thrust his knife relentlessly at every hole in my defense. It was a simple and ugly thing that even a brawl between children. Faster. I had to be faster than him. Faster than before. My body already at its very limits was accelerated rapidly towards that. Stars flashed before my eyes. Stardust seemed to come. This was probably the same steady sky Asuka had seen on her deathbed. Countless points of lights were clearly bright all around me. For some reason, I felt like every one of them was the soul of a dead human being beckoning me out into the darkness.
なぜ邪魔をする？オスロに対する復讐か？オスロを殺してどうする？壊してどうする？お前があの男に代わって世界を回すつもりか？
There are some people you have to kill, some things you have to destroy, and that's what Oslo is to me.
もういいんだ。もうお前は自分のために生きてもいいんだ。もっとあがけ。人生なんてもっとジタバタしていいんだ。楽に生きようとするな。
That woman was everything to me. When she told me to do something, I was damn well going to try. I was going to fight for my own sake, for the place where I was standing, for the road I wanted to follow, and for the handful of people at my side. That was all the reason I needed to make it this far. I'm not like you. I don't need someone else to give me a reason to fight.
それはあんたの英語だ。
So what? I have never met a man who wasn't. It wasn't much of an argument, admittedly, but I wasn't here for a debate. Once you start to hesitate, you lose the ability to kill. You can't start to consider things from your enemy's perspective. You can't pause to wonder if you are in the wrong. Questions like that are like the weight around your neck. That was the reason we were trying to kill our targets within a minute. It was the reason we try not to think. It was the reason we try not to think. When the questions snuck their way into your mind anyway, the trick was just to shrug them off. But to do that, you have to ask yourself those questions 100 times already. I'd gone through a general deal of anguish and uncertainty, and in the end, the woman I respected more than anyone told me I was fine the way I am. That was why I could shrug off my doubts effortlessly. Never took more than a minute to kill someone, huh? Then I guess this was the first time you had ever had a chance to hesitate. Oh! Wow, okay. He did it. He killed him. It would be cruel, even childish, to call this a matter of experience. A machine doesn't feel doubt. But when its programming contradicts itself, it stops working. The only thing that can keep moving forward, contradictions and all, is a human being. And someone who only cares about the things that are useful can't hope to understand what it means to be human. That was the real difference between you and me. Sorry I took so long to introduce myself. I Kazami Yuuji. That's the name of your brother and the name of your killer. Mention it on your way down to hell and they might move you to the front of the line. Well then, that just left hit Oslo himself. I didn't know exactly where he was waiting for me, but in my experience, big shots tend to hide places.
いたぞ！左官デッキ場に侵入者を発見！増援を頼む！
I just had to climb my way up to it and there was that man building a mountain of corpses. That's a good animation.
みちる様、600メートルの水圧に耐えるスーツですから、手で引っ張ったぐらいでは脱げないと思いますが。
なんで脱げないのよ。私はいつまで天井から吊られてなきゃならないの。
すみません。お水が漏れてこないように、ちょっとハードめのネジロック剤を使ったのですが、これがまた優秀でして、もうどうしたって外れなくなってしまいました。
私、おトイレ行きたいんですけど。
インパクトレンチも歯が立ちませんでしたし、ロングエクステンションをかけたソケットでも回らなくて、最後はボルトの頭をまるっと舐めてしまいまして、もう諦めるしか。
もう少し頑張ろう。私も頑張るから。
何をです？
おトイレを。
あ
ーじゃないわよ。とにかくなんとかして漏れちゃうから。
今マキちゃんがモーターツールを取りに行ってますから。
さっちーん、とりあえずハンドグラインダーと電動ドリル持ってきたのよ。
それできるの？
こうなってしまったらボルトの頭をモーターツールで飛ばして脱がせるしかないんです。現在一巻は先行中ですし、榊さんがブリーフィング中なので、あまり大きな音は出したくないのですが、手早く済ませましょう。
何よ、私がこんな目に遭ってるってのに、ユミコは男物のパンツで何やってんのよ。バカじゃないの？
みちる様、もしかしてとんでもない勘違いをしてませんか？
ブリーフを履くことじゃないの？
ヘドが出るほどバカだな。
何よ、知ってるわよ。わざとよ。ブリーフィングでしょ。場を和ませようとした松島流フレンチジョークよ。
みちる様、酸素欠乏症で脳が。
こいつを噛むな。
チルチル、ブリーフィングってのはまあ簡単な報告会議とかのことを言うのよ。
つまりは会社に戻った JB さんから都内に仕掛けられた例の爆弾やタナトスシステムがどうなったのかという報告を受けている状態です。
ヘリで出て行ってからまだそんな時間経ってないよね。もうイスラエルに着いたの？
It's Gaia, not Israel.
なぜイスラエル？
JB って女の組織ってモサドじゃないの？
一応言っとくけど、モサドともっさり関係ねえからな。
知ってるし、それもわざとだし。
そうですね。じゃあさっさと脱がせちゃいますね。
ものすごい無感情に流された。
私らだって結果報告が気になるのよ。でもチルチルをこのままにしとけないでしょ。
勝ったにしろ負けたにしろ、風見さんの状況を知る方法は JB さんからの報告に頼るしかありませんから。
お兄ちゃんが負けるわけねえのよ。
そうだね、私たちが信じないと。
でもさ、勝ったとしてもあいつ私たちのところに帰ってくるのかな。
おい、人が考えないようにしてたことをボソッと言うなよ。
大丈夫ですよ。 風見さんには足がありますから。足さえ無事ならちゃんと帰ってくるってサメマンもそう言っていました。
またサメか。っていうか何なのよサメマンって。いや知ってるけど、なんでサメに足が生えてるわけ？
なぜサメに足があるのかだと。愚問だな。
だが、どうしてもと問うのであれば、あえて
それは愛する者のために何度でも立ち上がるためだ。
なんじゃそりゃ
ー。シャーク！
ああ、もうサメマンはいいから、とにかく早くこれ外して。
はい、じゃあ首のところ切りますので動かないでくださいね。
The rapidly rotating tungsten blade cutter filled the air with a brilliant shower of sparks, and Michiru for her part emitted a scream of remarkable power. This piteous shriek, resembling nothing so much as the cry of a maiden in peril, traveled along the communication tubes that lined the body of the ship, echoing through its very nook and corner.
騒がしいようね。
すみません。ですが、騒いでいるうちは不安を忘れることもできますから。気にせず報告の続きを。
ご依頼の件だけど、さすがの私でもオスロの本拠地タルタロス島にまでは救助を向かわせられないわ。お金はいくらかかっても構わないというお話でしたけど、会社を動かすには手順がかかりすぎますし、2課で独自行動を取るにしても爆弾解除の方に人員を割かれすぎています。
彼が自分の手で決着をつけなければ意味のないことですし、私は風見くんに武力解除してくれと依頼しているわけではありません。ただ、すべての決着をつけ終えた彼を迎えに行ってくれるだけで構わないのです。でないと。
すべてを終えた彼は自らの死を受け入れてしまうかもしれないと。不安なのはわかるわ。私だって彼を仕事に送り出すたびに何度も同じ心配をしたものよ。でも風見雄二はい 9029 号は海兵時代はブーメランと呼ばれた男。どんなに過酷でどんなに絶望的な作戦に投入されても彼が必ず帰ってきたからついたあだ名よ。以前にもね、海外での作戦で2週間ほど連絡が取れなくなったことがあったけれど、結局は現地の漁師の釣り船に拾われて帰ってきたことがあるし、心配ないわ。大丈夫。待っている女がいれば、多少遅くなることはあっても必ず帰ってくる。彼はそういう男よ。
でも。
To Sakabe Asako, the woman he always come home to, was no longer alive. If he went to her now, he'd be going somewhere very far away from them. Having lost the woman he loved more than anyone else, he came to Miyama Academy an empty shell, in search of a new purpose in life, but had he actually found one? Had they given him reason enough to stay in this world?
ああ、爆弾の現場処理に向かったギャレット隊からの連絡が入ったわ。
差し支えないようであれば、こちらの回線につないでください。
ギャレットだ。
爆弾の処理の方はどうなりましたか？
薬剤試験場の方は資材搬入口の通路で入庫待機していたトラックの荷台から発見し、すでに不活処理が済んでいる。あと30分発見が遅れていれば資材倉庫に運び込まれて発見が困難になり、倉庫内で危険な薬剤とともに活性化した場合の被害は甚大なものになっていただろう。
もう一つの新タワーの方は？
迂闊な部隊導入で一時はテロリストの立てこもり状態にもなったが、あのアダムの手引きで市ヶ谷と赤坂の合同対策部隊が編成されて大規模部隊導入による力押しで制圧した。新型爆弾はエレベーターシャフト内で発見されて現場で一時処理を済ませた後に運び出されて、そちらも現在不活処理中だ。
That's the good news. Adam did something good for once.
そう、よかった。
全然よくありません。 新タワー周辺への大規模部隊導入に対する言い訳を考えるのは私ですよ。とりあえずは、新タワー建設に伴う周辺の再開発工事で、対戦中の不発弾が発見されて処理中であるとの発表はしました。今のところ、マスコミ各社に情報が漏れた形跡はありませんが、勘のいい連中は、オスロの入国の件と合わせて、それらに対する何らかの特別警戒であると見当をつけています。それが仕事とはいえ、世界中の無関係な人間に嘘をつく私の心労を少しはご理解いただきたいものです。
ましてや今回は身内にまで苦しい言い訳をしなければならんからな。我々が爆弾の設置箇所をどのように知り得たのかということが問題になっている。
まさかタナトスシステムのメインコアから直接聞いたなんて説明するわけにもいかないし、かといって下手な言い訳をしようものなら、一部の高官の間で広がっているSARS内部にオスロの患者が潜入しているなんていう妄言が真実味を増してしまうし、最悪。不合理を悩む前に身内を疑う。怪しきは罰する。機械は疑わないくせに人間は疑う。そんな古い
タナトスシステムが一時的に普及して爆弾の設置箇所の推測は彼女からのプロポーズだったとするわけには。
情報が入ったのがタナトスシステムがオスロ側の手に落ちた後だし、言い訳としては苦しいわね。その辺はアダム・ブラックやサーフの連中とも口裏を合わせなければいけないし、
とにかくその辺ははっきりとさせておかんと、サムおじさんの某大陸に対する G 牽制と受け取られると面倒なことになる。
タナトスさんは大量殺戮兵器は機能させない方が破壊力があると言っていました。下手をすれば近隣諸国との貿易関連で数年は尾を引くかもしれません。
そういえばタナトスさんは今はどうしているの？
やはり体力的に厳しいようで、現在は休息をとっています。椅子に座っているだけでも骨身に染みるような痛みがあるというので、海水を張ったバスタブに使って体にかかる重力負担を軽減している状態です。
あまり無理はさせない方がいいわ。
マイク・マイヤー大尉とスオーさんが看護についていますので、今のところは大丈夫だと思います。
ああ、タナトスといえば地下に残してきた本体の方な。外部電源が断たれてシステムのスリープが始まったぞ。
このまま電源を再接続しなければ3ヶ月でコピーコアが死ぬわ。このまま破棄するか再稼働するかはまだ決まっていないそうだけれど、再稼働するにはメインコアの生体認証が必要だそうよ。システム保守担当者が顔を青くしているわ。
どういうことです？
簡単に言ってしまえば、パスワードロックがかかっているパソコンのようなものよ。一度休止してしまえば再稼働させるにはパスワードが必要。そしてそのパスワードの解除にはそちらに乗艦しているタナトスさんの生体認証を要する。つまりは彼女がいなければシステムの再稼働は不可能ということよ。
いえ、それは理解できるのですが、つまりタナトスさんが望めばタナトスシステムは復旧が可能ということですか？
理論的にはね。ただ彼女がそれを望むかという問題と、一度は裏切った彼女をシステムが受け入れるかという問題はあるらしいわ。単純に彼女の身柄を確保して機械に放り込めば再稼働するというわけではないし、再稼働したところで今後はシステムの脆弱性をどう扱っていくべきかという問題もある。
またテロリストの標的にされても困るということでしょうか？
そうね。ただでさえシステムの維持費が大変な上に、さらに膨大な保護費用がかかるとなれば、再稼働もためらわれるわ。例えるなら、高級外国車を青空駐車しているようなものね。あそこに高級車があるぞと窃盗団に知られてしまえば、24時間見張りを立てなければいけない。高級車を手に入れても、それを保護管理できる車庫が備わっていない。 やはり導入は20年早かったというのが今は有力な意見ね。
どっかの国みたいに五角形の要塞でも建ててその地下に隠しておけばよかったのにな。
その皮肉は聞かなかったことにします。
うるせえ。わけわかんねえ厄介事に巻き込まれてこんな島国まで引きずり出された私の身にもなれ。とにかく疲れた。
先ほど現場の方にケータリングの手配をしておきました。まずは一段落ということで食事にしてください。
そうさせてもらう。
私からの報告も以上です。何か変化があればまた連絡しますので、アンテナ V は回収せずに曳行し続けてください。
わかりました。
A small beep from her headset indicated call her and that the word disconnected flashes across the screen of her laptop, and all of a sudden her body felt incredibly heavy. A few of their outstanding problems had now been cleared out. By all rights, they should have lightened their hearts, but instead the weight bearing it down on it only grew stronger. That should have lightened her heart. Although the bombs and the Thanatos system were essentially dealt with, the matter of Kazama Yuuji was still up in the air. They couldn't do anything more for him. All they could do was pray that he returned.
いくら欲しいの？お金ならいくらでもあげるから。帰ってきて、サビ君。
She knew it was utterly ridiculous, but right now Yuko simply couldn't find any other words to say.
そっか。じゃあやっぱりこうなることも計算してたんだ。
すべてを計算していたというわけではないわ。ただそうなったら嫌だなって予想していただけ。こんな風になってしまったのは私にとっても残念な結果よ。
和樹って昔からそうだったよね。途中で一箇所でもパズルのピースを間違えたらそこからさらに新しい道筋を立てて修正する。
そんなこと誰でも当たり前にやっていることよ。まあ運命を相手に無限に駒の存在する将棋を指しているようなものかしら。流されるのを嫌ってあがいているだけ。
無限に駒がある将棋で相手が10年後に指す一手を予想して今は無駄とも思える一手を打つ。それが私の知っている風見和樹。
それは過大評価。
そうかな。
そうよ。無限の駒があれば無限の予想外も存在するわ。
あ、そうだ。また和樹と会えたら聞こうと思っていたことがあるんだけど、あの山の中でガソリンをトイレに使ったのも計算？
ああ、バスの燃料のこと？あれは単純にハエよけと火災防止よ。ハエが発生すればそれを媒介として衛生環境が悪化して不要な感染を増やすし、ガソリンを残しておけばいつか必ず山火事を起こすわ。
必ずって言い切れるの？
火を起こしてのろしを上げるってアイデアが出たでしょ。でも湿度が高くて大きな火は起きにくい。そこでガソリンを使おうというアイデアが出たらどうなると思う？
気をつけて扱えば大丈夫なんじゃん。
そうね。その意見は必ず出る。そしてそれこそが全滅のフラグ。これは当時の私の想像でしかないけれど。
セーブするわ。
Yes. Adios, famosa.